Can you believe how a simple half-hour Peanuts cartoon from 1973 grew into one of America's most cherished and enduring Thanksgiving traditions? A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving has been part of the holiday culture for generations. It's a unique story that's resonated with fans, families, and people of all ages and groups. But it's had a very complicated and unusual history. So let's take a deep dive today to learn about how Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving came to be. When a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving first aired on November 20th, 1973, Peanuts holiday specials were already beloved. A Charlie Brown Christmas premiered in 1965, and my favorite, It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, came in 1966, and they set a very high bar. An audience had come to expect heartfelt humor mixed with Charles M. Schulz's gentle wisdom. But this special did something unusual. Instead of adapting existing comic strips, Schultz wrote a completely original story, except for the famous opening where Charlie Brown is playing football, which was a practical requirement for this new TV classic. Everything else was created specifically for the show. The production brought together the same core creative team behind earlier successes. Charles Schultz would write the script, while Bill Melendez and Phil Roman directed. Lee Mendelson and Melendez produced, and the music came from the famous Vince Guaraldi, whose music became synonymous with the Peanuts gang. The score, recorded in August and September of 1973, had a breezy, nostalgic feel that made it famous. Although short, the music became a pillar of the special's emotional tone, and it was even gentle enough for children to get the unique aspects of the music. The special opens with the classic scenario every Peanuts fan knows. Lucy convinces Charlie Brown to try kicking the football for the sake of Thanksgiving tradition, and he falls for it, literally again. After this humorous start, the story shifts to Charlie Brown and Sally discussing the holiday ahead when Peppermint Patty realizes that she has nowhere to go and nothing to do on Thanksgiving. She gives Charlie Brown or Old Chuck a call. In her usual bold fashion, she invites herself over for Thanksgiving dinner. Moments later, she adds Marcy and Franklin to the guest list as well. There's only one problem. Charlie Brown isn't hosting Thanksgiving dinner. He's supposed to be at his grandmother's house, and even if he were hosting, the kid can barely make toast. With the best intentions and a lot of panic, Charlie Brown, Linus, Snoopy, and Woodstock set up a makeshift Thanksgiving meal in the backyard. Snoopy takes charge, turning the preparation into a miniature slapstick cooking adventure. The meal they create: toast, jelly beans, popcorn, pretzels, and ice cream. And it's far from traditional, but it's showcased the uniqueness of children in a mismatched world when they're trying to come up with something to do on Thanksgiving. But Peppermint Patty was not having it. She was expecting turkey and pumpkin pie and reacts very poorly, creating a unique aspect to the story and creating that old fashioned Peanuts interaction that fans love. The special had a strong debut to even stronger reviews and immediately cemented itself as a seasonal favorite, ranking third in the Nielsen ratings during premiere week. CBS aired it annually throughout the 1970s and most of the 1980s, with only a few skipped years here and there. Its popularity ensured its survival across multiple networks and television eras. In the 1990s, the special even appeared on Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, introducing it to a new generation of children who did not grow up with the original broadcasts. In 2001, the broadcast rights moved to ABC. There, the special would air consistently for almost 2 decades and was often paired with the Mayflower Voyagers to fill an hour-long programming. This pairing helped contextualize Thanksgiving as a historic aspect in American culture, but also gave that Peanuts flair and Peanuts tradition that everyone had come to love. Because of its popularity, families would want it beyond just that annual broadcast. It would see numerous home releases on various media platforms, In the early 1980s, it would appear on RCA's Select-O-Vision CED formats, and in the late 80s and 90s, it would have multiple VHS releases, which made it even more accessible. And by the 2000s and 2010s, it would come out in things like DVD, Blu ray, and Ultra HD Blu ray editions. It was cemented as an annual cultural event for many families. This not only opened the door for home media, but this special also had its own merchandising, books, anything and everything you can think of. It had Peanuts on it during the Thanksgiving season. Hallmark would utilize this to make things like cards and little statues to sell in their stores. Everything that the Peanuts gang touched became Thanksgiving gold. But in 2020, a major shift would occur. This would happen when Apple acquired the exclusive streaming rights to the Peanut specials. This meant a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving no longer aired on ABC as part of its long running holiday lineup. However, there was major public backlash, and for 2020 and 2021, PBS would air the special one time a year, commercial free, ensuring those viewers who didn't have the streaming service could still enjoy it. Some interesting tidbits about this special was that this 1973 special was the final appearance for several of the key voice actors, including the voices of Lucy, Sally, and Peppermint Patty. As the children aged, new performers would take over their roles. It would also showcase that the Peanuts gang could adapt and change. Even with new voices, the characters could still resonate for decades to come. Behind the scenes, the special also marked a transition point between the earliest Peanuts animation era and the production style that would define later specials after the 1980s and into the 1990s. More excessive and expressive animation would contribute to the charm and help distinguish it from those earlier specials like the Christmas and Halloween specials. Despite its simple 25-minute structure, A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving has endured because it blends humor, heart, and humility in a unique Peanuts way. It's so relatable to families of all ages. It connects grandparents with grandchildren and highlights the aspects of gratitude. But it also has unforgettable music and a message that's timeless. That's why this story has lived on for so long and has made such an impact. I know myself love to watch this special every year, as well as the other Charlie Brown specials. Let us know in the comments below what your favorite Peanut special is. We'd love to hear from all of you, and happy Thanksgiving. Believable Truths.